I'm Gloria Allred, and you're watching GVTV News.
Thanks, Gloria, and I'm Randy Hansen. In world news headlines today, European finance chiefs approve $172 billion Greek bailout. And Yemen holds election in deal to end Saleh's 33-year rule. And a report out says Israel to release Palestinian hunger striker Qadar Adnan. And Afghans protest Koran burnings in U.S. air base at Bagram. And 4 U.S. soldiers killed when spy plane crashes in Butte. And out of Spain, police criticized for brutal beating of students. And Obama to host Israel's prime minister for talks on Iran. And donors pour $22 million into super PACs for Republican candidates. And Santorum spokeswoman attacks Obama's radical Islamic policies. And former IMF chief held and questioned in prostitution inquiry. And out of Syria, 12 killed in Homs as Red Cross pushes for ceasefire. And out of Senegal, 3 dead as pre-election protests intensify. And Canada threatens complaints over tar sands labeling. And 94% of Oscar voters are white, 77% are male. And 2011 Polk Awards given to Shadid, Mayor, AP, and Al Jazeera. GVTV News would like to say the views expressed on our news broadcast do not necessarily reflect the views of NCTV Digital Media Center. But before these stories, GVTV News would like to thank one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it says GVTV News. In today's first world news story, European finance ministers have agreed to a new $172 billion bailout for Greece that will force Athens to commit to making another round of deep austerity cuts. As part of the deal, Greek workers are expected to suffer further wage cuts larger than 15% already planned for the next 3 years. Under the agreement, Greece's private creditors have agreed to take deeper losses on their Greek debts. The bailout is being opposed by several left-wing groups in Greece. The KKE Communist Party called on people across Europe to join Greeks in their battle against monopolies and profits. And voters in Yemen went to the polls to select a new president, officially end the 33-year rule of Ali Abdullah Saleh. Only one candidate was on the ballot, Saleh's vice president, Abid Rabo Mansour al-Hadi. He was nominated in a deal between the ruling party and the former opposition parties. Nobel Peace Prize winner Tayakkul Karman hailed the vote as a step to building a new Yemen and said, "This is a day of holy happiness. This is a day of victory. We are officially announcing the end of Ali Abdullah Saleh's era. Thank to God he is gone. Today we are building a new Yemen. We're building a democratic and happy Yemen, and all the youth and the women have dreamed about." The new Yemeni government is expected to have close military ties to the United States. President Obama's chief counterterrorism advisor, John Brennan, said a number of U.S. officials would visit Yemen to help restructure Yemen's military. And there are reports Israel has agreed to release Palestinian prisoner Qadar Adnan, who has been on a hunger strike for the past 66 days, a Palestinian minister told Agence France Presse. A deal had been struck for Israel to release Adnan on April 17th on a condition he ends his hunger strike. There's no immediate confirmation that Adnan's lawyer or with the Israeli government. And more than 2,000 Afghans protested outside the U.S. military base at Bagram Air Base Airport after a report that foreign troops burned a pile of Korans at the base. Protesters hurled petrol bombs and fired slingshots at the base. General John Allen, the U.S. commander of Afghanistan, offered his apology and said, "We are thoroughly investigating the incident. We are taking steps to ensure this does not ever happen again. I assure you, I promise you that this was not intentional in any way. I offer my sincere apologies for any offense this may have caused." 4 Air Force special operators died on Monday where their spy plane crashed near a U.S. military base in the East African nation of Djibouti. The military said the 4 service members were returning from a mission in Afghanistan, but some reports said the plane was on a spy mission over East Africa. And police in Valencia, Spain, are facing criticism after beating students as they rallied against cuts in education spending Monday. Footage showed police in body armor charging students, whacking them with batons and dragging them to the ground. 26 people were arrested, 5 of them minors, according to the El País newspaper. And White House has announced President Obama will host Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. On March 5th, the talks are expected to focus on Iran and the possibility of an Israeli strike on Iran's alleged nuclear weapons sites. On Sunday, Netanyahu held a 2-hour meeting with U.S. National Security Advisor Tom Donilon in Jerusalem. And newly released financial records provided new insight into the growing power of unlimited campaign donations in the super PACs in the 2012 race. During the month of January, super PACs backing the 4 main Republican candidates raised $22 million, mostly in massive donations from a handful of donors. Rick Santorum's super PAC has received large donations from mutual fund investor Foster Freeze and Louisiana Energy executive William Dorr. Mitt Romney's super PAC raised $6.6 million in January. Key backers of Romney's included Oklahoma mining executive Joseph W. Kraft, hedge fund billionaire Bruce Kovner, and David Lesenby, the founder of the Utah Vitamin Supplements Company. Billionaire casino mogul Sheldon Adelson family so far pumped $11 million into pro-Newt Gingrich super PAC. Winning Our Future, their Center for the Public Integrity reports Adelson has given about 84% of the $13.1 million to the group that has raised so far. Adelson is planning to give another $10 million. In other campaign news, a spokesman for Rick Santorum said in TV interview on Monday that Santorum was referring to President Obama's radical Islamic policies when he said that the president's agenda was driven by phony theology. Alice Stewart made the comment in an interview on MSNBC and said he wasn't questioning the president's character, he wasn't questioning the president's religion. As he said, he had clarified the statement. He was talking about radical environmentalists. He was talking about that there is a type of theological secularism that when it comes to global warming in this country, that's what he was referring to. He was referring to the president's policies in terms of radical Islamic policies the president has, specifically in terms of energy exploration. After the interview aired on MSNBC, Stewart called the network to say she had made a mistake and said radical Islamic policies instead of Obama's radical environmental policies. Former International Monetary Chief Dominique Strauss-Kahn, we all remember him, is being questioned by French police for his alleged involvement in a prostitution ring. Police have questioned several prostitutes who had reportedly had sex with Strauss-Kahn, who resigned from the IMF in May after he was charged with attempted rape of a hotel maid in New York City. The case was later dropped. Strauss-Kahn said he did not know the women were prostitutes. Oh, okay. The International Committee of the Red Cross is negotiating with Syrian authorities and opposition fighters on a ceasefire to bring humanitarian aid to civilians trapped by the violence. Syrian activists say that 12 people have been killed in Syrian troops in the city of Homs, according to Syrian forces opened fire earlier yesterday on demonstrators in Damascus. And protests are intensifying in the West African country of Senegal over President Abdoulaye Wade's bid for third term. At least 3 people have reportedly killed in protests over the weekend, 1 week before the election. The government apologized after tear gas was thrown into a mosque in Dakar on Friday. The country's constitution limits the presidency to 2 terms, but Senegal's highest court last month cleared the 85-year-old president to run again. And Canada is threatening to file a World Trade Organization complaint against the European Union if the EU labels oil from Alberta's tar sands as highly polluting. Canada has threatened to retaliate if the EU singles out oil sands crude in what is described as discriminatory, arbitrary, or unscientific way. In entertainment news, a study from the Los Angeles Times has revealed the voters deciding the Sunday's